Well, I was going to do a video outdoors today. Here it is May 29th, 2026, here in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. But I think the weather is not really cooperative today, so let's go film the rest of it inside. If you've traveled recently, you've probably heard the same thing. Just get an eSIM, it's so much easier. Well, I can tell you that after 2 years of travel across multiple countries and multiple borders, my opinion has come to a different conclusion. Hi, my name's Ian, I'm known as WanderBeard around here, and today I'm back with another tech tips video for you to talk about the difference between eSIMs and physical SIM cards. So over the last couple of years as I've been traveling, I see ads continuously, I see recommendations continuously, I see all kinds of stuff talking about eSIMs from all these different companies, and I'm here to tell you that my opinion, I think eSIMs are usually a waste of time and money. One of the things that's important to understand about eSIMs is that they are not out to make your life easier. They are only out there to make themselves lots of money. You often see many travel vloggers, Instagram influencers, and others who clearly think that eSIMs are your best option. Oh, and here's a code, or here's a discount, or here's my referral to go and try it out. Well, in my opinion, all of those people who try and sell you on the idea of an eSIM are only doing it for their own financial gain. So over the last couple of years, in my experiences from all the places that I've been and all the countries that I've traveled and all the borders that I've crossed, I would much rather have a physical SIM card in my phone for a local carrier than purchasing a third-party eSIM. So if you don't know the difference, let's back up a little bit and I'll explain it to you quickly. So when your phone communicates with the outside world through a carrier network, it requires what's called a SIM card. And that's these little cards that look like this that go inside your phone that contain your phone number, your data plan, all that kind of information in it. There are physical SIM cards, which you can buy from most carriers, and then there are also eSIMs, which are basically like a piece of software that gets installed in place of the physical SIM card. Many carriers offer eSIMs themselves, and those are not what I'm here to talk about today. eSIMs from companies like Claro, or here in Canada you have Bell and Rogers and some other subsidiaries, or in Mexico you have Telcel. Those companies also offer eSIM as an option to their physical SIM cards. eSIMs from carriers are typically okay. They offer the same perks, the same benefits, and the same prices that they would have on their physical SIM card plans. The issues that I have are the ones that you see promoted online all the time. The Holaflys, the Airalos, the Sailys of the world, if you will. All of those companies are basically third-party vendors that are reselling data in packages to you to purchase. But the prices are often very high for the amount of data that you get or for how long they last. And I'm going to explain to you the differences and why I think that they are not worth your money. I can think of exactly one time over the last 2.5 years where I needed an eSIM, and that was when I crossed the border from Mexico to Belize. Belize has its own networks, has its own cell phone companies, and SIM cards do not work there from other countries. So they offer a tourist SIM card when you arrive in the country, but if you're traveling cross-country or traveling overland, and you want to have data until you get a chance to pick up a SIM card, eSIM there might be your only option. But even at that, you just buy the cheapest plan, the maybe $5 for a gigabyte of data for 7 days or something like that, and that will get you through until you buy a physical card. The best example I can think of for a physical SIM card is my Claro SIM. So when I was in Guatemala, I picked up a physical SIM card from Claro. I went to just a local cell phone shop on the street. The card was $5. It came preloaded with data and minutes and a physical telephone number, which can be really important as well, which I will talk about momentarily. But this Claro SIM, for me, worked in Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, with no additional fees, with no roaming charges, nothing. Claro in that part of the world has a deal where if you're traveling through Central America and you have one of their SIM cards, it works in all the other countries at no additional cost, which is awesome. One of the other perks of having a physical SIM card or an eSIM from the actual carrier is that many apps are not included in your data limit. So for example, when you buy an eSIM package and they say you have 5 gigabytes of data, that includes all of your social media, any YouTube streaming, anything at all, data uploads, tethering, the whole bit. All of that is included in that bucket of 5 gigabytes of data. Well, with my Claro SIM, they give you a whole list of apps for free that do not count towards your data limit. So this is a fantastic way to kind of even increase more so the amount of data that you have for the same price. It's also super convenient because Claro has an app that you can use to top up your SIM card if your package runs out or if it's been 30 days or those types of things. Just use it with your credit card, pop in your number, and you're good to go instantly and off to the races. You don't need to go back to a store. You don't need to pay with cash, nothing. It's super convenient. It's a great way to do it. They also have a website you can do from your computer as well if you prefer to do it that way. But either way, there are plenty of options for that. So here's an example here of 2 different eSIM companies and a local SIM from Claro. So this first eSIM company these are all the same. These are all 7-day packages, all for Guatemala. So this eSIM package for Guatemala for 7 days, let's say you're going with 5 gigabytes, is $23.50 US. This second eSIM company only offered 1 gigabyte for 7 days, and that was $6 US. So you would have to top up an additional $6 each time you want to add 1 more gigabyte of data. And then here you have the Claro physical SIM from Claro in Guatemala. This is again 7 days, includes 9 gigs of data. But on top of that, you also get unlimited usage of all of those apps shown: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Waze, WhatsApp. Includes free unlimited use of Spotify and their own music app, Claro Music. And then if you notice at the bottom, it also includes unlimited use for Twitch and Snapchat as well. That all costs a grand total of $5 US. So eSIMs like to have lots of promises. They like to offer, easy activations. You don't have to swap SIM cards. They, just work wherever you are. But in my experience, that's not the case at all. I have found that the coverage for eSIMs is often worse because they are not the primary provider of that data. They are simply buying the data from the carriers and reselling it to you at a higher price for a poorer quality of service. Most eSIM companies send their traffic through third-party countries. So for example, if you're in Guatemala and you buy a Saily eSIM or an Airalo eSIM or one of the other ones, and you're trying to connect to a website in Guatemala, that data is traveling to Hong Kong first and then back. That introduces lag, that introduces other potential issues. There could be security issues with your data, those types of things. Then you get into discussions on top of that. Oh, well, now you need a VPN also. Well, you don't if you have a local SIM card with local data from the local carrier. It's just so much easier that way. It's so much more secure. So some of the other reasons why I argue that a SIM card is better is that an eSIM doesn't give you a local phone number. So if you're in a country for any length of time, or if you're in a region for any length of time, and you're using eSIM after eSIM package, that adds up very quickly. And you don't have some of the perks. You don't have texting, you don't have a telephone number. So things like 2-factor authentication, or if a local business wants to contact you, or you want to use some local apps types of things, those are limits of an eSIM. If you have seen my previous tech tips videos when I talked about using local apps, you need a local SIM card in order to connect to those. And some of those apps are really important. They are for getting around the city. They are for emergency services. They are maybe government services, those types of things. You need a local SIM card for all of that. So this video obviously isn't sponsored in any way. Here I am kind of talking down the thing that most other travel vloggers tend to promote heavily on their channels. I'm not here to do that. I'm talking to you specifically from someone with 25 years of technical background and 2 years on the road, and these are just my own experiences. But for my money, I would take a physical SIM card 100% of the time if it's available. I have a collection of SIM cards. There's 3 of them, for example, that I've bought over time. There's one for Mexico, there was one for Guatemala, and then there was a second one for Guatemala that I purchased on my second time through, which I used all the way to Panama. They're fantastic. They're easy to swap in. People say, oh, it's so difficult to swap SIM cards and all that sort of stuff. It literally takes less than 30 seconds. You pop the old one out, put the new one in, you're off to the races. You don't even have to turn off your phone and turn it back on. The SIM card just turns on and starts working. The ones that I have here from Guatemala and Mexico have a phone number attached to them. So even if it's been a number of months and I suddenly go back to that country again, that phone number still works in the same country. It's a wonderful situation. One of the other things I like about a physical SIM card is the convenience of customer service. If you're having an issue with your Claro SIM card and you're in Guatemala or you're in El Salvador or you're somewhere like that, you can walk into any store and say, hey, my SIM card's not working. They'll swap it out for you. They can test it on the spot. They can make sure that it's working again. If you're dealing with an eSIM company, maybe their customer support is overseas or different times or whatever, it's a hassle. You have to sit down at your computer. Maybe you have to find a separate phone if you don't have a computer. There's many steps involved, like you have to connect to a Wi-Fi necessarily. Like it's a lot more difficult. My whole goal in travel and my life is to keep things simple, keep things easy. And for me, a SIM card wins every time when I'm looking at the simplicity and the convenience of having one. Now, let's say you're going somewhere for a week. You're going to a resort in Mexico, or you're going to Lake Aratlan in Guatemala for a week, and that's going to be the only place you go, and after that you're flying out and going home, then yes, I could argue that eSIMs are probably okay in those situations. It's a very simple one-stop, keep it simple. But for any other length of time, eSIMs get super expensive, super fast. And again, you have to tack on all the extra data usage for, your social media apps, for music streaming, for YouTube, those types of things. The Claro SIM that I have, as I mentioned earlier, had a whole list of apps that were included. It included all the major social media apps. It included free YouTube streaming. It included Spotify streaming for free. All these types of things, which are, quite honestly, most of the common apps that people will use, don't count against that data cap whatsoever. So you find your data will last far longer than it would with an eSIM as well. So my final point to you is use your best judgment. Don't always just assume that because someone's trying to sell you an eSIM or a discount code or something like that for an eSIM package, that it's always going to be the best option for you. If you're traveling for any length of time, you're crossing countries, or you're just trying to travel on a budget, there is literally no reason why you would want to pick an eSIM over a physical SIM card. It's convenient, it's more data, it's cheaper, it's more reliable, and it's first party, rather than a third party company that's just selling you a slice of data out of a big bucket that it bought. It's really no better. All those eSIM companies doing are adding an extra layer of complexity and cost for you when you shouldn't have to worry about it whatsoever. So for me, always picking a SIM card over an eSIM is a no-brainer. It's more secure because you're dealing with the carrier themselves. You have a physical SIM card that comes with the physical phone number, which you can use for texting, two-factor authentication, local apps that might require a local phone number. You've got data package that sometimes includes free apps above and beyond the amount of data you've purchased. They are easy to reload now. The carriers all have apps and websites, just like any eSIM company would, to reload, or if you have any problems, you can reach out to their customer service. SIM cards are cheap. They are about $5 in most places. The most expensive one I've come across so far was when I was in Belize. It was a tourist SIM card, but even then came with lots of data, came with a local phone number, came with all of the perks that you would need to get through your time in the country. I was there for about 2 weeks in total and had no problems the entire time when I was visiting. Anyway, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the eSIM versus SIM card discussion. Again, for my money, it's an easy choice, but maybe for you, you see it from a different light. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a like or a comment on this video to let me know that you're here. And if you'd like to support me further, there's a few different ways you can do that. I have a Patreon set up and I have some donation links on the screen. No requirement to do any of that, no pressure from me at all. It's just there as an option if you'd like to do that. And remember, life is short. Wander. And I'll see you in the next video. It is Friday, May 29th, 2026. Welcome to spring in Cape Breton.